Alright, how's it going, YouTube? This is going to be the start of my pear butter. So this is going to be like a 2-day video that I'm going to have to kind of piece together for you guys. But it's going to be worth it. I got this recipe from Noreen over at Noreen's Kitchen. Link will be down below. You can see how she makes her pear butter. I'm making mine slightly different just because my kids aren't a real fan of ginger. Hopefully one day they will be, but until then I kind of have to tweak things, as most of us moms know. You have to kind of tweak it the way your family likes it. So instead of adding ginger to my pears, I'm going to add just cinnamon and some nutmeg. So what I have in here is 7 pounds of just sliced pears. That's it. I just even left them big and chunky too. So 7 pounds, I got them on sale at Kroger for 99 cents a pound. So I picked up 7 pounds. I just sliced them up, peeled them, and threw them in my crock pot. And my crock pot is on low. And to this, what I'm going to add is a half a cup of lemon juice. Now, I know I'm going to probably get some comments about the bottled lemon juice. So I went ahead and added my apple juice, or added my lemon juice, and let me switch my battery because of course my battery is dying. So let me switch that out and I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, now I am back with a fresh battery. I've never made this before, so you guys are making this along with me, and if you guys give it a try, we'll kind of all make it together for the first time, which would be kind of cool. You could send me pictures of yours or video. If you make a video, that would be phenomenal. But alright, so I have all of my sliced pears inside here. Like I said, I just kept them chunky. Set my crock pot to low. Added a half a cup of lemon juice. Now what I'm going to add is about a tablespoon of fresh crushed nutmeg. And then I'm going to add about a quarter cup of ground cinnamon. Oh, get this new container opened. I'll dig in here. Get a quarter cup in here. I'm going to put just a slightly less and see how it goes. Alright, so there's my quarter cup. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a spoon, take a wooden spoon here, and just kind of, you're not going to add any water to this. Noreen says that the pears will make enough juice of their own. So I'm just going to make sure that this is just kind of well mixed. And the pears are coated. And then all you're going to do is go ahead and add your top. And then we're going to let this cook up for about 7 hours. Then after that, we'll come back and we'll add the sugar and we'll kind of mash up our pears and take it from there. But 7 hours on low. So yeah, this is it. Alright guys, I will be back in 7 hours and give you an update. Alright, how's it going guys? Alright, I know I should have videotaped this a bit better for you guys, and I'm really sorry. As you guys know, my dryer went out this weekend, so last night it was so busy trying to get that dryer replaced and going and picking it up and then installing it and getting rid of the old one. I let this cook and I didn't record anything. So let me catch you up to what I did. So yesterday I showed you the cut pears, put it in. I showed you the spices I added, the lemon juice. I let that cook on low for about 6 to 7 hours. Then what I did is, as it was cooking, I was mashing it with just a manual potato masher. And then after about 6 or 7 hours, I added 4 cups of sugar to it. Just white granulated sugar. You can use whatever sugar, you know, you like. I mean, you know, consult your canning book, I'll say that. But I used regular white sugar. and then mixed it in, kept mashing it, and then I just let it cook last night while we were busy with the dryer thing. I shut it off before going to bed, and then when I woke up this morning I turned it back on, which now I'm going to turn it off. So in total it's cooked between, I want to say about 14 or 15 hours total. I basically turned it on this morning. It's still morning. I basically turned it on this morning to get it reheated so that I can can it in my jars. So I'm going to lift the lid off here so you guys can see, and I'm probably going to turn on the big light, which I hate doing because I know the fluorescent light isn't very good. And let me get you focused here. Okay, so hopefully you can see that. I know it's going to be kind of hard seeing inside my pot. But I've got this nice and hot, and you can see that the pears have cooked down. Pear butter does not have any pectin in it. It basically stands on its own, using its own natural pectin. So we are going to not add anything else to this. We are just going to go ahead and pour this into hot jars. We're going to water bath can this for 15 minutes, and that should be it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the insert of this over to my canning area next to my stove. I have my jars in the oven at 225. I've had them in there for about 15-20 minutes to sterilize. That's how I like to sterilize my jars. I don't use water on the stove top. It's just easier for me to it's just easier for me to pop them in the oven. I already have my water bath canner boiling and ready to go. I have my water for my lids already simmered and hot. I know there's some controversy of whether or not you should heat up your lids or not heat up your lids. I'm just still gonna do it the way everyone's kind of taught me and all the books have taught me, so I'm just gonna stick with what has worked for me. As a pretty much still, well, I guess I'm not a newbie anymore to canning because I've canned so much now. But still, as a newcomer into this, I've had very few fails, and the fails that I have had, I know what they're from. So I have not had any issue with my lids. Now, of course, I have not kept my canning products for over a year like many canners have, so I'm not sure of the longevity of the lids. You guys can kind of research that on your own, but I'm just going to do as I do as I have always done since learning, and just stick what has worked for me. So I'm going to pause this. I'm going to take you over to my stove, and we're going to get started with canning this pear butter up. Okay, just to show you what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to dip my funnel for a few seconds right in this hot water, just to make sure everything is sanitized and sterilized and all is well. Just need to make sure everything is nice and clean. And I'm just going to go ahead and put my spoon in there. Now, I'm not sure how many jars I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to guess probably 5, but I'm going to put in 6 just in case, because it's always better to put in too many than not enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm just going to get my rings and my lids, get them plopped in. Okay, And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my, and hopefully you guys can see this. If not, I'll try to adjust it here. I'm going to go ahead and pull out using my little jar grabber. I love this thing. If you guys don't have one, this is a must-have. I need to make a video on my favorite tools, but this is definitely one of them. I'm going to just pull out a jar from my oven here, and I'm going to aim you down just a little bit, I think. Is that good? Hopefully you can see everything that way. Alright, so let me get you refocused. This is a nice camera, but I tell you, it's a lot of manual work. I guess it's worth it if you can see better, but alright, so we're going to fill these up to 1/4 inch headspace. And try not to make a mess because I really don't want to lose any of this wonderful pear butter. Now I have tasted this. It is phenomenal, you guys. I mean, like really phenomenal. Now I have a cloth here, and I'm going to get a little cup of vinegar. And that's what I like to kind of dip my cloth in. You can use a napkin too. I don't have any napkins. I haven't bought napkins in like a month. I'm trying to stay away from all that paper product, you know, waste. So I just have a little bit of vinegar in there. You guys can see that. I'm going to take this off. I'm actually going to grab another jar. That way I can put my funnel on it without making a mess. Dip my cloth. I'm just going to wipe my rim. Then I'm going to get a lid. Put that right on there like that. And my ring. And be careful because it is very hot. Actually, I'm just going to use the other side of this cloth here. Okay, finger tight, not too tight because these lids will pucker if you do it too tight. That has happened to me. So I'm going to go ahead and I've got my pot over here. I'm going to show you that part. I'll just move you a little bit. There we go. And I'm going to put my jar right up top. Now I might actually be able to get more than 6 jars out of this. We will see. It smells so good. I'm going to tell you this, if you make pear butter, and I'm sure apple butter is the same, but you will not need to burn a candle in your house. That is for sure, because my house has been smelling incredible since making this. So I'm just going to put that in there. I'm actually going to, you guys can see, hopefully, put this over here. Find a little damp end here. Put in the vinegar and just wipe. Now I know most canners on YouTube kind of skip through this part, but as a newbie I appreciate watching the process, and I know many of you following me appreciate watching the process. So if you don't want to watch me jar all these up, which I won't blame you, you can go ahead and fast forward through this part. But for those of you who like to sit and watch and just enjoy the process of watching someone can, which is what I do. I mean, just love watching people can. Isn't that, I don't know, maybe that's weird, but I really do. It is very, this hobby is very, well, do you call it a hobby? I guess you call it a hobby nowadays, but really this is a way of life and a way of survival, in my opinion. But this canning, just canning, is very rewarding, and for me it's very relaxing. And I find that when I am stressed out about anything, really, could be anything, if I can, it's just very relaxing to me. And it's very rewarding because I know that all of this is going to go in my pantry, and we are going to have food and, we're going to be stocked up. I don't know about you guys, but I love a stocked pantry. Do you guys ever feel that way? Like, like after you go grocery shopping, or after you can, or, me, if I bake like a lot of bread, and then I see all my bread like in my bread basket, I just feel so I just feel so gratified, like, like I can relax because we've got plenty. I just love that feeling of, not having to worry about food. And I guess, I grew up pretty poor. I didn't at first, but after my parents' divorce, we were pretty poor. We grew up in the inner city of Detroit. I lived there for the first 21 years of my life. We were on food assistance, and so, food was not plentiful. There was many nights my mom, would split a can of soup between me and my sister, and she would go to bed hungry. And I never really appreciated that at the time. My mom would just say, oh, she had a bellyache, or she didn't feel good and she wasn't going to eat. And it wasn't until I became a mom that I really understood, or could even begin to fathom what that must have been like. So being able to have this skill to be able to make my own food and to can for my family, and to not have to worry about, being able to, not feed my kids like my mom worried, is really, this is like a blessing and a gift. So if anyone out there wants to try this and is afraid to try it, or you're nervous, don't be. If you screw it up, the jars are reusable. Most of the things that you screw up, you can go ahead and just place in the fridge and use up, if you don't can it properly. And I know I'm rambling, sorry. I do tend to ramble. I think I might be able to get one more jar, if not to can, to at least put in my fridge. So let me pull out one more jar here. Let's see what we can get out of this. Hopefully I can scrape out enough to jar one more. Come on, one more. Oh, yes. And we have it. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and plop this right into my sink water there. So I was able to get, what is that, 7 jars? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 7 jars. Alright. I have to heat up one ring and one lid. Let me grab that. I always wash my rings and lids before I use them. Even though I wash them initially, and they get washed, like, you know, if I've used this jelly jar before, it gets washed in the dishwasher, gets put back on my shelf. But before I can with it again, I always rewash it. I don't know why. It's just, you know, it's really important, especially when you water bath cans, to make sure that everything is sterilized. You want everything clean. So it does not hurt to rewash stuff. Alright. Put that right in here. Oh, I hope I didn't lose you for too long there. You know, I heard that this camera shuts off when, like, the battery starts getting heated up. I don't know, it's a pain in the butt. So hopefully I didn't lose too much of you. I have all of my jars in the canner now, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop this down. Okay, put the lid on, and I'm going to watch this. And when this pot comes back to a boil, we can start our processing time. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to grab my handy dandy timer and keep an eye on this. It shouldn't take too long because it was already boiling before I put anything in there. And then I'm going to start processing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back in about 20 minutes because it'll probably take 5 minutes to get it back to a rapid boil. And look at, I made a mess. You'll see that. Canning can be messy. I love these mats though, and they're super easy just to throw in the wash. These are actually canning mats, but you can actually buy the like the dish drawing mats. They're nice and thick. They really hold your jars nice, so I like them. Anyway, alright, so I'll come back in 20 minutes, and when I take these jars out of the canner, I will show you guys what it looks like. Alright guys, be back. Okay guys, timer went off. And we are ready to grab these things out of the canner. I'm going to turn this on low, super low, only because I'm going to make grape jelly next with you guys. I have jars already in the oven, I have my canner already out. I might as well just, you know, keep on going here and see if I can't pick out some grape jelly. So, I'm going to pull these out here. Hopefully you guys can see this okay. Let's see how lovely these are. And I'm telling you, this is a great recipe for beginners. If you've never canned before, this is the way to go, because you can just literally, you just slice up fruit, throw it in the crock pot, and basically let it cook on its own, and then just can it up. Oh, here we got the pops already. Alright, so there, you guys can see, let's see if I can focus you on that. It is a beautiful, I know it's kind of hard to tell, it's a beautiful amber color. Again, I made mine with cinnamon and nutmeg. You can go ahead and follow any other recipe you want. Noreen has a ginger recipe, which, you know, ginger and pear is incredible. My kids just don't appreciate that taste yet. Hopefully one day they will. They still eat their sweet and sour chicken with the sweet and sour on the side, and they don't eat that. They only eat the chicken and the rice. So they don't even appreciate the ginger and sweet and sour chicken yet. So hoping one day, me and Matt, you know, we love all different kinds of flavors. So even something, even if you make a little batch, I might just make a little batch, maybe not 7 pounds of pears, but maybe a little batch even just for me and Matt, and try the ginger, because I think that'd be incredible. So anyway, we're going to let these sit. I'm actually going to probably, I usually use my center island and let these cool overnight. But I am canning. It is still morning. I think it's 11 a.m. now. So I'm going to have to put them somewhere else. I might put them on top of the microwave. Lay a towel down. Always lay a towel down underneath your jars, just so that you don't lay them on a cold surface. They can kind of come up to room temperature on their own. I sometimes like to cover them too with a towel, especially my pressure can stuff, my pressure can food, because it does get so hot and it does process for so long. I don't want to shock it at all, so I usually cover that with a towel overnight. But I'm going to lay a towel down on top of my microwave. That way it's out of the way, nobody will touch it, it's not on the kitchen table, it's not on my island, and I can still make dinner and stuff tonight without anyone messing with them. So, yeah, but that's it. I hope you guys liked this recipe. I'm telling you, the taste is incredible. I cannot wait to have this on some toast, or on a bagel with cream cheese, or on a cracker, or as Noreen had suggested, maybe as a as almost like a jam in between 2 layers of cake. I think it's just going to be incredible. I cannot wait to put a jar in the fridge. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I'm going to get started on grape jelly now. I'm going to probably get this in my laptop and edit it for you guys, so you at least have one video to watch today, and hopefully I can get the grape one uploaded tonight or tomorrow for you. But I have a lot more other things coming. You know, I picked up a bag of this stuff. It's spiced apple mix. It's by Mrs. Wages. $2 at Walmart. I know they're kind of getting rid of a lot of their canning things now. They're kind of clearing it up a little bit. But I'm going to try this. Now I know not everyone's going to be able to follow along, because if you don't have this, you really can't do the recipe. But if you can find this spiced apple mix, I picked up 2 envelopes of it. I am going to make at least 1 batch with 10 pounds of apples with this. I'm going to do the sliced apple. This gets mixed in with the simple syrup, but if you don't have this package, just use the simple syrup, which is half water, half sugar, and that'll be fine. In fact, I'm going to can another 10 pounds doing it that method, but I'm going to be adding a box of Red Hots to it. So it's going to be a cinnamon spiced apples in simple syrup. That way, you know, you can eat them out of the jar, you can use it for apple pie, you can use it for apple crisp, you can use it on top of ice cream. Kind of leaves it more open than if I made apple pie filling. You know, you make apple pie filling and you can apple pie filling, you're stuck with using apple pie filling. This way, if I want to make apple pie filling, I'll just make it fresh using the jarred apples I do. So I've got 20 pounds of apples to process and to do. I'm going to start that tomorrow, and 10 pounds is going to be with this, and the other 10 pounds is going to be with the simple syrup and the Red Hots. So if you want to follow along with me or do as I'm doing, you might want to pick those things up. But the next recipe I'm going to do for the grape jelly is just going to be grape jelly using Welch's grape juice. It's super easy. It's the very first recipe I ever made, the very first canning recipe I ever made, the very first thing I ever canned. Basic grape jelly, and if you're a newbie and you're a beginner, it's going to be super easy for you. You're not even going to believe how easy it is. I know it's a little intimidating, but it really isn't, and once you get started, you are going to be hooked. You're going to be addicted. So, alright, let me end this before I keep on rambling. I just love having you guys in my kitchen. I don't feel so alone. Alright, so let me get this uploaded for you guys, and I will be back with that grape jelly video. Bye, guys.